So, mate, for anyone that's watching, what is the Pacific Crest Trail and what is it that you've just completed not even that long ago?
So the PCT is a 2,650 mile footpath, essentially. Goes through California, Oregon, and Washington. So it takes you from border to border, Mexico to Canada. It takes you through some of the warmest deserts I've ever been in. Mountains where you're walking through waist deep snow. Some of the most beautiful vistas that you can ever see. And it's pretty hard to summarise it in a sentence. Like, so many people have asked me this about my hike, about the PCT. What is it? Where'd you go? Like, how was it? And it sounds like this really simple thing, because it is. You walk, you sleep, you eat, and you just go along this footpath from end to end. But it's like, it's an intensely life-changing experience. Mm-hmm. Like, the community around it, the challenges that you go through. It's the most amazing thing I've ever done in my life, to be honest. Yeah.
Did it do everything you thought it was going to do and more?
Way exceeded any expectations that I ever had for it, and I had high expectations for it.
Yeah.
So
I think there's something mad about doing things repetitively. I mean, you spoke about this. When you do something repetitively, you learn a lot about something, and then when you chuck in the mix hardship, long days, arduous stuff that you don't want to do on top of that, like, it holds a mirror up. Actually, I was listening to, it was a snippet from a podcast, and it was, people want feelings, so people want patience, but then they're not willing to do the work to find patience. People want solitude, but then they're not willing to do the work to find solitude. You don't get the thing that people want. People are always like, I want that feeling. Like, I want to feel fulfilled. I want to have purpose. Like, I want to feel happy. I just don't want to feel sad. But then actually, the journey to getting those feelings is doing a thing that is really hard, like, really challenging. And you have to go through a point where you learn a lot about yourself in it. So you've probably learned a lot about yourself in ways that you didn't even imagine, I can imagine. Yeah,
that's an interesting point you just raised, because I hadn't thought about it in like a few months. I had a conversation with a girl off trail, like 2 months into my journey, and she was like, what have you gained so far? Like, what are some of the things that you think you've got? And I was like, patience. And you just mentioned it there. I've not thought about it until just now. And she was like, how? What do you mean? How have you got patience from walking? I'm like, well, I'm hiking, 12 to 15 hours a day, getting to camp, eating and sleeping, and I still don't understand how this develops patience fully, but you're doing these reps every day. Like, you can't rush it. It's easy to rush through a session in the gym. It's easy to rush through a run. If it's like a couple of hours, whatever, you can push the pace. You can't push the pace for 2,650 miles, And if you do, you're going to break somewhere along the line, and you're mentally going to be just fried. Mm-hmm. So patience definitely has developed in a weird amount. I met someone last month who I met right at the beginning of the trail, and we stopped for like 90 minutes at the side of the trail. We just ran into each other. Just had a conversation, like, catching up, and he's like, dude, you've changed so much. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you just seem like really still and like almost like a different person. Mm-hmm. So that's like only maybe like 3 months from the start to the end, where he's seen me in the middle, on either end, sorry. Yeah. And he can recognise this weird, what I would say is patience, stillness, Yeah. Because I guess it's, for me, being disconnected from this world that we're all so connected in. You're always on social media, you can meet for a coffee, you're always go. But when I'm in the mountains, it's kind of amazing. And maybe that's my introvert coming out, and I'm like, get me the fuck away from everyone, and they're like
natural, isn't it? We're not meant to be living the way we live now. Like, why the screens? And I'm not trying to get ancestral and going back the way, like, we need to go back to our roots and ditch technology, but like, that's the way like we're meant to live. I mean, like, survival.
It feels like it.
You go and do it, and you feel better. Like, if you take any time away from your phone, you spend more time connected with people, and then you do something that requires you to do hard work, you feel fulfilled. Like, you just feel better. You might not at first, you might feel agitated, you might feel a bit squirming. I can imagine that was probably like first bits on your own and stuff, and then before you know it, you're like finding a lot of peace and solitude and just doing that thing daily.
For sure. And I know some people's favourite sections through the trail is when they have zero service.
Yeah.
Initially, they find it frustrating because you get service in town, you get service on top of a mountain maybe. You can call your family, and then after that you get a bit itchy because you're like, oh, I want to scroll on Instagram, I want to be connected, I want to watch something on YouTube, and then it's like, oh well, you're not getting service for 7 days. Phone goes in your pocket, it comes out for photographs, and you feel fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people pre-trail maybe never knew that. I mean, I always knew my phone was a bane of my life, you know, 'cause it's so addictive. It consumes so much of your energy, and like your clarity. It turns you into a bit of a vegetable. And on trail, I loved having no service, although it was like so crucial to what I was doing, the content I was creating, and being able to get the journey out to everyone else.
Yeah.
When I had no service for 5 days, I loved it, because the phone became a bit of a, I don't know, it became a bit of a vortex sometimes when I had like 5 days of content to edit, schedule. You know, I get to town and everyone's like, right, we're resupplying, we're showering, laundering our clothes, and we're getting the hell out of here. I'm like, yeah, me too, but I've got to produce 5 pieces of content and schedule it and try and just process the last little section and plan what I've got coming up. So it created an extra bit of workload, and so I kind of, I don't know, I had even an extra layer of dislike for my phone, because
it's a means to an end, but because you're also pursuing this dream of yours, but then you're also like, how do I turn this into something? It's like it's the catch-22 in it.
Yeah, I mean, I love doing it.
Yeah.
But when you're out there, you're exhausted. Like, you're pushing big days, like 30, 40-mile days, like back to back to back.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to do is sit down and try and put it all together.
Yeah.
Because you become kind of conditioned. You become like a machine. Like, after 3 or 4 months, your body can just do these miles.
Yeah.
But your mind, I don't know, it just kind of becomes part of it, and you're kind of just like boom, 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 boom. You know your schedule. You know when you get up. You know when you're going to eat every hour. Yeah. You know where you're going to get your water. You know where you're going to sleep-ish. The other side of things, you can't disconnect from it. I have to capture what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, I want to just be like in full machine mode, like hike till dark, collapse, wake up, eat, hike till dark. That's really what I want to do, because the body's like, this is what we're doing now. Why are you stopping? Why are you trying to capture content? Why are you stopping and like voice memoing and writing captions and coming up with ideas? It's like two different completely parts of the brain, like this modern take of how we're going to produce content, how we're going to do it, what are people going to like, what do people want to see today, and me just going, put your fucking phone away and just hike. This is what you want to do. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's tricky, because some days I won't capture enough. Yeah. So I have to kind of pad things out with, you know, maybe some a block in 2 hours when I'm almost near camp. I'm like, shit, I haven't got anything. I've just been like horsing all day. So then you're like trying to squeeze some things in, which, I mean, you're lucky, because
you've done a pretty good job of it.
Within 2 hours, you get so many more things happening than I would have in a month in my life, because you're going over mountains consistently, you're going over your constant views, there's animals everywhere, there's potentially people, so there's so much stuff to capture. And that's like, honestly, I could have rolled a camera all day, every day.
Oh, strap the GoPro to your head.
And you wouldn't. I could have watched that. I swear I could have watched someone do that, because there's so much happens.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's why the evolution happens then. Like, you've just hit the nail on the head. You go through probably in a day what most folk would go through in a month, maybe more. No matter, like, you go through like such a journey of emotions just in one day, and if you then do that, like that friend that you bumped into, that's like, man, you've changed so much. It's like, I'm not surprised, because when you're evolving that hard, like I had this conversation with someone yesterday, and I said, like, because the way that I operate in life and business and training, like every few months I have to review things that like I would have reviewed annually, but I'm reviewing them like every couple of months, because I'm like, that needs to be changed, that needs to be, because we're different, we don't do that anymore, and we do this. Like, that's what happens when you evolve and you're pushing lots of progress. And I think walking the length of America is like the most like best way to describe someone pushing progress. So I think obviously there'll be a lot of listeners from the States listening to this podcast. I hope you can understand me okay. I'm speaking very clearly. I actually think my English is very good.
Mine probably get worse talking to you.
Yeah, well, I actually spoke to one of my German friends recently that I met in Cyprus, and he's like, you're speaking so fast, and I've only been back in Scotland for 3 weeks, so it does rub off on you right away. To get everyone up to speed, because there'll be a lot of people watching, there'll be people from, obviously, that know you from home, family, but there'll be a lot of viewers that are obviously that only know you as Grant Munn, the guy that comes on and literally does a daily vlog of walking the length of America. Can you tell the guys a bit about where life was at prior to that, like before you kind of got into that, and like what took you to there? Because I think that's a really interesting part of the story, because I'm going to come on and talk about the trail, the hardship, the great points, the highs, the lows, the lessons, but it's really important to understand a person before you dive into that, because a lot of folks see someone doing something but they don't see how much went into it, how much self-doubt went into it, how much risk went into it, what you had to do to get to there. So could you paint in a bit of a picture to who you were before and your journey to actually getting to the PCT?
Yeah, I mean, almost part of me is like, I don't even know who that is. Like, that's who I am now, which is incredible. But yeah, the PCT. So how can I start with PCT and how I heard about it, how I came across it, and it was a long time ago.
I remember. You showed me a vlog.
That's actually someone else, but I started following a girl on Instagram like before I even knew what long distance hiking was. Yeah. She was just like funny, like good Instagrammer, good content, whatever. And then a couple of years went by, found someone else, and then before you know it, you're down this rabbit hole of what is this adventure? You know, I've always craved adventure. Wherever I've been in my life, I'm like, I'm not adventurous enough. Even on the PCT, I'm like, I could do some more. I could push this
10 mile.
Could push this a little harder. Which is incredible to understand how you tick more now from the PCT. But finding out what this thing was and getting deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole, I was like, I'm going to do this one day. One day, whether it's next year, which wasn't really in my like foresight. It wasn't next year. It was maybe 5 years, 10 years, maybe when I'm 50, maybe somewhere down the line. This is going to be a bucket list item. And there was lots of things like that I'd had through my 20s, through my teens. That I was like, I really want to do this. And looking back, you know, I had careers, I had relationships that I was prioritizing over these dreams and aspirations. And I mean, it's crazy looking back, because these things that I wanted to do were the things that really like motivated me and inspired me. It's like, why are you not giving time to these things? Why are you not prioritizing these things? I guess at the time you feel like you're prioritizing what you think is the right thing to prioritize. Mm-hmm. And looking back, I mean, I'm happy I've done it at the age I'm done it. I'm happy I am where I am. But looking back, I'm like, man, you wasted so much energy that you could have been putting into these things that inspire you. But
it's all part of the journey.
It is part of the journey, yeah. And I wouldn't be the person that I am who's just done it. I might never have finished the PCT if I'd done it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, so many people don't.
They've been mad with it and smoking.
Exactly. Like, you know, some people party through that trail.
Mad with it. For our American listeners is just Scottish for getting extremely drunk all the time.
Yeah.
I'd wait it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, some people do make it through that trail doing that, but I know it's not a lot.
People drink.
People drink. There's a guy who I met a couple of days ago. Actually, I've just got off a flight like 24 hours, not even 24 hours ago. So I met a guy a couple of days ago, and he was doing like one beer. He was trying to drink a 24 case of beer. Yeah. He's drinking a beer every mile.
Yeah.
And he's drinking a beer every hour. And he done like he didn't complete them all, but I've seen people doing crazy shit out there.
That's mad.
Like really, people doing some really like athletic. I mean, I guess that's an athletic achievement in a way.
Yeah.
Not my idea of a challenge, but obviously some people's. So you're back to kind of pre-trail. So I had this inspiration from other content creators, and that's what it was. I don't know if you'd ever heard of the trail before I showed it to you.
No, like I had heard of it, but like I hadn't seen it. Do you know what I mean? Like you probably watch videos. Like I'd heard of people going like this, people running it, ultra runners and stuff that have ran it, and like I knew there was like course records and stuff. But like even when you explained to me the idea of trail fairies and like
trail magic,
trail magic, and I remember being like having these mad people in my head like vendors like alongside the water. It's nowhere near the water. Like, do you go by the ocean at any point?
You don't go by the ocean.
Quite inland.
The closest you can, I think, you get to the ocean is it's a mountain called San Jacinto, which is just slightly off the trail, but you go through the range, and on a really clear day, I think you can see the ocean. It's kind of near Los Angeles, so you can see the ocean from there. I think that's the closest you get.
Right.
And the PCT. In
my head, before I seen anything about it, I had this idea that it like hugged the edge of America.
Yeah, honestly, until I got there, I didn't really know where it went. I watched people's YouTubes, and I knew what it looked like. It didn't fucking look like that.
Yeah.
Mine was covered in snow.
Yeah.
I watched all these YouTubes and
I knew it was mad. Like I've followed obviously like a lot of ultra hybrid athletes, and different people, and I've seen them do things like Leadville, where they hit terrain like you would hit. They're going up like 11,000, 13,000 feet. So I was aware of like the sort of terrain you were going to hit. Like it's like I was explaining to people, and I was like, this is like the highest mountain in the UK is Ben Nevis, which is like 5,300 feet.
Yeah.
Which is like, what's that? Like
it's 1,300 meters.
less than 2,000 meters.
Yeah, 1,300, 1,350, something like that.
Yeah, it's tiny.
Yeah, it's really small.
Yeah, it's
on a scale from like, it's prominent.
Yeah.
Like the climb's prominent, but when you look at it in comparison to the mountains in America,
America's just so big.
Like if I was at 1,300 meters in America, I was really low on the trail. That's a really low elevation, and if you're there, you're feeling pretty happy.
Mate, I was in when I went to Boston earlier this year, and I was just in a hotel, and the weather was on, the Weather Channel. And then, like, it was like, I'd been all about Massachusetts, I'd been to Cape Cod, I'd been to Boston, I'd been to Plymouth, I even went over to Rhode Island, and it was like showing you the weather. And like, I knew America was big, but then like it zoomed out, and it was like Massachusetts was like tiny, like tiny, man. And I was like, I thought this was big. Like, I thought this is like Scotland size.
They're really small over there, yeah.
Tiny.
States, yeah.
The East States. Well, someone told me about this. It's because when, I don't want to go boots this up, but it was like when the Pilgrims came, they were all didn't have transport, trains, and ways to get across, so they were all fighting over land. Like, that's my state. This is how I think it is in my head.
Well, I mean,
and then they get bigger as you go across to the west.
They've been occupied longer. Essentially, I think that's the general.
I think that's what I was trying to say, but like, I was saying it like people were fencing over it.
So to put California in perspective from just the trail, so the trail is 2,650 miles from border to border along the footpath. California was like 1,700 miles. That's one state. I was there for walking through California for 3.5 to 4 months.
Yeah.
And that's some of the biggest issues on trail. People hit a huge, every year, people quit.
Yeah, can I imagine, mate?
Around the 1,000 to 1,700 mark, people
think walking, mate, and they just go, it's just walking.
Well, yeah, they do, but you go through it, potentially one of the most difficult portions of the trail. You go through the Sierra Nevada mountain range, from mile 700 to mile 950 or something. And this is high altitude. You could breathe. You're breathing out your ass. You cannot breathe. Like when you start going up an incline, you're like, I'm so tired. It's like, no, you're at altitude.
Yeah.
At some point, you're up at like 14,000 feet. It's like 4,000 meters, 4,500 meters.
Yeah.
And when I was up there, it was waist deep snow.
Yeah.
So you've got all these added layers of difficulty.
Yeah.
You get through this section, and you're like, oh my God, I'm a beast. I've just made it through like the Sierra. I've made it through the Mojave Desert. Like I'm incredible. And then you look at your map, and you've got 700 miles left of California.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, but I've just finished this incredible mountain range.
Yeah.
How can I have more than half the trail to do? How can I have 700 miles left of California to do? It just like it totally pulls the rug out of people, because they think I'm almost there. It's like, nah, you're literally not even halfway. You're not even anywhere near halfway yet.
Yeah.
And Northern California is a really tough section. No matter what time of the year you go through, they've had like multiple wildfires. Like the Dixie Fire burned 1 million acres a few years ago.
Yeah.
So you're potentially either walking through endless snow with no tree cover from the sun, or you're walking through burn zone, so it's dead, infertile ground with no sun cover in the blaring heat.
Yeah.
And you just come out of the Sierra and think you're awesome.
Yeah.
And you're not, because you're going to die for the next 700 miles until you get to Oregon. So people just go, nah, I can't do this anymore. This is too much. But yeah, we'll go back to what we were talking about pre-trail. So anyway, I found out about the trail. It was on my list. Lots of great content to consume on PCT. Well, so I thought there's a lot of content which showed you a very good side of the PCT. You watch a 40-minute YouTube and it's like, this looks amazing. This is showing you the highlights of the trail. Maybe one negative clip doesn't even closely relate to what it's like. So I went through a phase of my life where I went through a big transition. Quit my job, ended a relationship. I just was not satisfied of where I was. I was really unhappy. I had all these dreams that I'd been bottling up and packing away, and I felt like I was stuck. You know, I felt like I had all this energy pent up, and I had a good life, if that's what you would call it. You know, I had everything. People would look at my life and be like, "Fuck, I'm jealous of this guy. He's kind of got what I would like," and I wasn't happy. You know, I had so many bottled up dreams and things I wanted to be doing. So, at 30 years old, quit my job, ended my relationship, moved to Australia, and surfed every day. Got a job in a bar and was doing a bit of soul searching, but at that time I knew the PCT was coming up. I'd missed the cut-off that year, so I applied for my permit. You have to get a permit to apply for it. They only give out so many each year, so I applied for that. I was waiting until October to find out that I got it. Found out I'd actually missed the cut-off, so the next cut-off was January, and I was supposed to be starting in March. So I was like, okay, I'll apply for the permit, and I was waiting in Australia. And at this point, I was like, I don't even know if I want to hike this trail anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'd just become this surf guy who was like chilling and really enjoying being in Australia. And I was like, I don't think I want to leave this life. And again, I was like, you're finding something you like and almost disregarding everything else that you want. It's this comfort, you know, we all get stuck in this comfort of what we've got, of where we are. It's like, fuck everything else. You know, let's just stick with this. We like this. And it's I find it terrifying because now I like this thing, and I'm like, don't cut yourself off to everything else that you're interested in, because it's so easy to do. So January rolled round, got my permit, buzzing, applied for my visa for America. The next, the permit I got was 1st of March. And now when I tell people I start 1st of March, I didn't realise at the time because I'd only watched these fancy, lovely YouTubes. 1st of March is a crazy time to start. It's way out of season. It's the winter. It's winter in America. It's still winter. The winter goes to mid-March. I just didn't know. I was ill-researched, ill-informed. And I had trouble getting my visa as well, which was a huge issue because the first appointment in London wasn't for 6 months.
Yeah.
And the next appointment in Australia wasn't for 2 years. I was like, I've waited for years to do this trail and I can't go. But I managed to get an emergency appointment, got the visa, flew to America, flew to Southern California. What do you think of when you think Southern California? Sunshine, surf, beaches, women in bikinis? Mm-hmm. Me too. It wasn't. It snowed one day from the border, and I was like, what's going on? What's going on here? This is snow, and it snowed for pretty much consistently, minus 300 miles for 3 months of my trail. And everyone in the trail was the same. There was like Aussie guys there, you know, people not from the States. And they were just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
This is supposed to be hot and sunny. We've watched the YouTubes. Why is it snowing everywhere? And yeah, it felt like being dropped into the fire, for sure. Yeah. There's a huge amount of learning curves to happen immediately when you're on top of a mountain and it starts sideways snowing.
Yeah. But it's mad. So let's kind of, before we dive right into kind of starting it out, and I want to talk a bit about obviously how you made your channel and where that kind of came from as well. But like you mentioned there, you started to get to this point, because it's a really good point, Grant, about where you settle. You start to go, you get a bit comfy, then you're like, oh, this is actually good. I'm not going to do that. That can wait a little bit more. When you did do that, so I remember you at the time because you came out to Bali before you went Australia, then you came out to Bali and spent a week with us. And at that time, obviously, there was a lot of change going on in your life, and then obviously there was a lot of uncertainty. What sort of emotions were you experiencing around that time? Like doubt, questioning things? 'Cause I remember you actually went like that to me. I always remember it. You were like, I can't go back to a 9 to 5, because you're already thinking about the end of the trail. Mm-hmm. You're already at that point. I think a lot of folk don't realise that. You're already thinking about what life would be like after it before it was even done. So what was your headspace then?
So I mean, a part of that was also impacted by what I was doing in Australia. Yeah. You know, I was kind of out of the 9 to 5 life, I guess, in a way. Yeah. I was working evenings. I was doing, everything I wanted to do for the day. I was going to the gym. I was surfing. I was living on a beach. It was a beautiful time for sure. So that helped add to the questioning. But yeah, I knew that the trail wasn't going to be there forever, and I knew it was going to be transformative, and I knew I was going to be a different person at the end. I didn't know to what extent. And I always look past what I'm doing. Just a terrible trait to have. and I do it less now since the trail. So I was thinking beyond that, like, what am I going to do? How am I going to build my life into something that I want? Like, I'm at a place now, I'm free in a way. You know, I don't have any ties, I don't have any commitments. I'm about to embark on a journey that I've waited for essentially for years, albeit I didn't know when I was going to do it. It was something that I knew was coming for a long time, and I knew this was the moment that I'd kind of waited for to be doing what I wanted to be doing. So I was kind of trying to look past it in a way, going, how do I craft my life into something I want? How do I craft my life into something that I'm happy with? Or, if not happy, going in a direction that I want it to be going. Because the previous directions was not the direction that I wanted. Whether I was happy with it or not, it wasn't what I desired, it wasn't what I was craving, you know? So I didn't want to just go through blindly. So I was trying to plan, trying to look. And I guess the first hurdle was, am I going to document this journey? Because that was the question. It was a question when I was in Australia, and it was a question when I was with you in Bali. In Australia, some family and friends were like, how do we keep up with this? This is incredible, like, what you're going to do. How do we follow it? I'm like, oh, well, you know, I'm thinking about maybe posting on Instagram, maybe that. And they were like, no, you need to. Like, and I was like, well, I've got some ideas, but I don't know. And at this point, this was the 2 days before I left.
I know.
I
remember.
I still wasn't sure whether I was going to document it. I was like, I don't know. Maybe it'll take. And again, everyone does. And I've met people on trail who do this. They're like, I don't want it to take away from my journey. That was an excuse I was making. I was like, I don't want it to take away from my journey. I'm not sure whether I'm going to document it. It's like, no, you're just scared to document it. You're exposing yourself out there. You're adding an extra layer of difficulty to the trail. You're scared of that. It's not that you don't want, everyone, I can guarantee most people want that documentation. They want a journal, they want a record of what they've just done, because you're achieving one of the biggest things you'll ever achieve in your life. You know, it's a 2,650 mile endurance hike, essentially. And it's the longest endurance event you'll ever do. But you're scared, because who wants to put themselves out there when they're tired, when they're cold, you know, when they're at the weakest they've ever felt? So that's kind of the doubts that are going through my mind. I was like, I don't think I want to do this. Like, it's really vulnerable. So the people in Australia pushed me a little bit, and I was like, okay, maybe I should do this. And then I flew over to Bali, and I was still like, I don't know whether I can do this. And then we sat down and had a conversation, and we talked about, you know, what's the future look like? How does it look? And I know we spoke about what you could sell, like how do you market stuff, like what does the future look like? And it was very simple, because again, I'm worrying about things beyond what I need to worry about. You're like, you don't need to worry about that right now. Like, you're going onto this huge adventure. All you have to do is document it every single day. Like, what you need to worry about in the future, you can worry about in the future. That's going to come organically, which is like, now once you go through it, you're like, oh my God, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But at the time, I'm like, but you have an offer. You have this thing to sell. You have something to market. You're like, yeah, but you're about to have something to sell and market. It's coming. You know, this huge adventure. And looking back now, I was like, it is an incredibly easy way to produce content, because I don't have to think of anything. I mean, it's hard. It's really fucking hard producing content on trail, because the trail itself is hard. But you have unlimited things to capture. Yeah. You know, there's always something happening. I mean, I could produce content every day, just reflecting on how I feel, because I feel so different every day. You know, I could do a 90-second vid. I could do a 90-second vlog every day, and that would be enough, because there's so much happened. There's so many emotional changes, and you would have an audience for that. Yeah. You know. But at the time, I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I want to do this. And even when I left, I was like, I don't want to do this. And then I guess we kind of had that conversation, and I was like, I need to start posting every day, because this is what I'm going to do. So I started posting in Bali, just like figuring out. I'd never really posted content before in my life. It was completely new to me. So that was scary. Yeah. Posting. But then I just treated it like it wasn't, I don't know. I kind of disconnected from it a little. I was like, I post every day now. Yeah. That's what I do. Yeah. And I'm going to do it every day. And that's what I've done for the trail. And people are like, how are you maintaining this? I'm like, it's not an option. Yeah. Like,
take the option off the table, man.
It's a non-negotiable that people get to see my video every single day. I never missed a day. It wouldn't be like, okay, I'm just going to miss day 72. It's like, sorry guys, I missed a day. You know, they're bought into this series now.
You're accountable.
And regardless of whether you have 100 followers or 30,000 followers or 1 million followers, people who are following you have bought into that journey. They want to know what the hell's going on. So I felt when I missed a day, whether it was because I was out of service or whether I was sick or whether I just simply didn't have enough time to produce the content, which was very, very rare, I felt so bad. I felt really like responsible for these people missing this series, this day. And people were so bought in, they got worried about it. They were messaging me like, are you okay? You posted every day for the last 3 months and you haven't posted today. Is everything okay? Which is rightly so. You're in the mountains, those bears, those mountain lions, those serious risk of death in some of the mountains you're in.
Jeffrey Dahmer, going about.
Yeah.
That's big in America, isn't it? Nutters everywhere.
There's in the Washington section, I'm not going to talk about him too much, but there's a guy, there's a killer at large through the Washington section, yeah. Which is kind of scary. When I first went in there, I was like, oh my God.
America's so messed up, man. That's the one place I'm like that to Ailey. You're not running on your own here.
I'm telling you now, before I went to America, it was never really on my list. The PCT was on my list. America's so high on my list now.
Yeah.
The people, the country.
People are amazing. I love America.
The size of the place and the beauty they have, it's pretty unmatched around the world.
America is not a country. And that offends people.
It's going to be a snippet. It's going to be a soundbite.
Every state is like a country, isn't it? Like every state is so different. The people are so different. The culture's so different. The food's different. The beliefs are different. Like it is a country. It's the United States of America, and it's an incredible place. But like, it's so big and so different that like someone from the East Coast is so different to someone from the West Coast.
Yeah,
they're so incredibly different. Like they see the world differently. They're just people at the end of the day. But it's like saying someone from Portugal and Ukraine are the same person because they're from the continent of Europe. Different cultures, different languages, but they're so far spread. And I know that there's like obviously. Like, I'm not going to go into politics or anything like that, because Americans love politics.
America's dream.
Yeah. They love politics. When I was I couldn't believe how many people just randomly spoke to me about politics when I was in Massachusetts. I never even asked them.
Yeah.
They just told me, and I was like, why are you telling me this? Like, someone apologised to me. They're like, I'm really sorry. And I was like, what are you sorry for? They went, that you've came here at this time.
Yeah.
I was like, it's great, man. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what time you're talking about. It's fine. I love it. It's great. Like,
yeah, it's an incredibly jarring experience.
Yeah, it's weird
when you have Americans. I mean, I love Americans so much. Like, some of my most favourite people on earth now.
Yeah.
After being over there and experiencing so much kindness, generosity, and just general friendliness from them all. But man, they wear politics on their sleeve. Yeah. Like, it's so.
It's just very patriotic. They're very patriotic people.
Yeah, I'm not going to dive down the politics hole too deep, but it's just extreme politics over there. Mm-hmm. And when I told people I didn't talk politics, I don't talk politics at home, I don't talk politics here. Some people are like, oh yeah, cool. There's some people who are like offended. They're like, oh, it must be nice not to have to not talk about politics, being white and straight and everything like that. And I'm like, I just don't want to talk about politics.
Oh.
Like, I'm not political.
Yeah.
But anyway.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy place to talk about politics, and it's a pretty crazy place to live.
Talk to people about religion and politics, man. They're just
that's the big thing
things.
On trail.
Yeah.
People are like, no religion, no politics on trail. Talk about whatever you want, don't talk about them too. Because generally, you can get through without arguing if you don't talk about religion and politics.
Yeah.
So they try and, that's like a thing, you try and keep it out of there, but
yeah,
you cross over into towns a lot. But yeah, the States is
incredible place.
They're up there for me. I'll be back. I didn't think I would be before I went, but
we want to go next year. We want to go to Texas. I want to go and do Austin Marathon.
Nice.
Next year, I want to do that. I've not said that to anyone yet, but me and Ailey want to do that.
Just put it out.
Yeah,
hard launch.
Austin Marathon.
Austin Marathon.
Yeah, man, be cool. So obviously, you're at this point now where you've embarked on your journey. Like, it's kind of kicked the legs away from underneath you, like in the sense that you went out there a bit naive and stuff. What did you kind of really find the hardest part to adjust to, like, right away? Because you lived out of a tent, mate. Like you were basically homeless when I met you this morning. He was sleeping. He was literally sleeping when I went and met him this morning at like 5 to 9, and I was like, "We've got a podcast at 9. Good thing this place isn't far away."
Well, that was the first time I've been in a bed in months.
Yeah, I'll give you that, mate. You just walked the length of America. I'm not doing. He's not lazy.
And I landed about 2 p.m. yesterday.
Yeah, 100%. I went in and I was like, your mum answered the door and I was like, where's Grant? And she was like, he's in his bed. She was like, does he need to be up? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
He needs to
I
be
mean, that
up.
was a quick turnaround.
It was a quick turnaround.
Sorry, what was the question again?
What did you find the hardest part to adjust
To
to?
adjust to? Honestly, all of it. I thought I assumed it was going to be really easy. I thought, I've slept in a tent before. I've walked a lot. It's not going to be that hard. You just up and down, whatever. I didn't realise the amount of mountains you actually climb over. So, physically, I was not conditioned for that trail. Like, I was fit. I was surfing every day. I was training in the gym. I was strong. I was fit. I had some conditioning, and it's just not trail fit at all.
Yeah.
Like, your feet need so much conditioning.
Yeah.
Hundreds and thousands of miles you need on your feet.
Could cook an egg in your feet now.
Hours. It took me 2,000 miles to get my trail feet.
Yeah.
Like, they were sore.
Yeah. I was thinking that when you were talking about training, you went down a couple of hikes in Scotland. I was like, fair play, man.
Yeah. I like 1,000 mile marker. I was like, I just need to accept that my feet are going to hurt the whole way now.
I said to you, you'd train during it. Like, you would train, you would get fitter.
You do, and you can take that approach. There is, like, a lot of people will take that approach of...
You weren't unfit, but you wouldn't advise this to maybe someone that was in their 40s or 50s that was a bit more inactive.
If you want to take a slow start to the trail,
Yeah.
you can get trail fit,
Yeah.
but you're never going to... I mean, you won't be pumping big miles out till the second half of the trail.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to do that. The further into the trail I got, like now, I realised that if I was going to go back into another trail, I'd be going back fully conditioned, and I'd be starting with some big miles and looking to do it as more of a challenge. But when you first do your first through hike, the goal is to finish. It's not to finish within 100 days. It's not to finish within 90 days or whatever some crazy guys are doing. It's like, I don't know if I can make it to the end of this, because you've never done it before. But once you've done one, you're like, okay, I can make it to the end. And I met people on trail who are doing it in 76 days, which is just insane. Like, a fast time is under 100 days. There's people cutting 25 days off that.
That's insane.
It's just wild. And when you talk to people who are through hiking about it, they just can't fathom how someone's moving that quick. It's conditioning. It's time on trail. It's having a focus rather than being like, oh, I'm going to stop in town for 2 days. You've just lost 60 miles. And that's how people who are doing big miles look at it. They're like, why would I stop in town? I've just lost 60 miles. I've just lost 30 miles, 40 miles. Rather than being like, yeah, I need a rest. They'll do 15, 20 miles into town.
It's all part of it as well, though, isn't it? Depending what, as you said, it's what you have to identify your intentions.
How you enjoy the trail.
Yeah.
People enjoy the trail. People enjoy the social side. So some people will party for it. Some people might not finish it, or they might skip sections because they want to spend more time partying in towns or whatever. That doesn't appeal to me at all. And I never really knew what style of hiking I liked, because I suffered for months, because not just from the conditioning aspect, from the weather. Like, we got slammed hard. Like, it was really unexpected. It was a really late winter. Like, those points where it was minus 10 degrees Celsius, 15 degrees Fahrenheit for the Americans. We were up at 13,000 feet, 14,000 feet at one point, which is really dangerous. It was snowfield, so there was nowhere dry to camp, and we were just soaked to the bone. And you're like, this is a pretty easy place to die right now. So you have to just keep moving until it's time to go to bed. You can't sit around. And going through them phases, you look back and think, how the hell did you make it through that? But getting past all that, getting past the snow, getting past the high altitude, when I started pumping out bigger miles alone, so I was hiking alone at this point, I started pumping out bigger miles, longer days, and I was really, really enjoying it. I was like, done it again and again and again, back to back, like big days, and I was like, this is my style of hiking. I love this. Like, it's because you're really pushing your body. You're pushing your body to its limits sometimes, and I mean, you know how that feels. There's so much satisfaction in it. You get so much. I don't know. You break through barriers consistently.
Mate, you said it earlier, and I think I've said this to you before. When you do an endurance event, you go through in a day like a month of emotions. in a day.
Yeah.
Because you're like so high, so you're just growing, like, and then you're like low, and then you're like having to tap into self-talk, and then you're having to tap into visualization, and then you're having to, and then the more you do that through repetition, you start to understand the value in it more, and then you're starting to become more aware and more conscious of your mind, and you're like, oh man, this is growing me, because people just think it's the grit and it's the determination. You're like, nah, it's the little nuances that that come with it that you do when you do stuff like this, that you just learn a lot about yourself. Like, people say that, but it's a very, people are like, what do you mean you learn a lot about yourself? Like, you figure yourself out. You figure out that you're not as strong in some areas as you think you are. That's one of the big ones as well, that you've got a lot of areas that, like, that's a weakness, man. That's something that I need to work on. That identifies a lot of areas you need to work on. But yeah, man, like...
So you experience that a lot on trail, even if you're not pushing big miles, because you're with your own thoughts all day for months at a time. There's no, especially if you don't have phone service, there's no distraction. So if you happen to be on your own through the day, which you will be generally, because not everyone hikes at the same speed, it can get pretty weird. You know, if you're spending sometimes weeks, I know people who spent a trail alone.
Wow.
Your brain can get really weird. I had a couple of weeks in Northern California, which is again where everyone struggles. People quit. I had like 2 weeks where I cried every day. I was like so emotionally volatile. Like, I've been through some of the toughest months of my life, and all these different emotions from the past, I felt like the future. Like, I was thinking about things and I couldn't get them out of my mind.
Yeah.
So I hadn't put headphones in for the first 3 months. So I was taking everything. I was like, I want to feel every part of this. So like 2 weeks in Northern California, slushing through snow. You had wet feet all day, every day. You had trench foot coming on, like all the guys, because it's just, you can never get dry. You couldn't walk. You were sliding around every step. So all the tendons and ligaments in your knees were just aching. And at that point, I was like, I have 1,700 miles to go. So everything that was on my mind was so much more intense, because your body, your mind is so fatigued, and then you're getting emotional, and you're on your own because everyone's hiking different speeds. And if you're struggling mentally, you cannot keep up physically. You slow down so much. Like, everyone goes through different phases of it. And I remember every day just being so emotional, multiple times a day. And what can you do? You got no service.
Yeah.
You got no one to call. You got no one to talk to, because people are at different sections of the day. So you have to keep walking through snow, and you're just like stuck in the same train of thought for hours and hours and hours. And at the time, I was like, I would do anything to be out of my head right now. But looking back, I'm like, that was the best thing you could ever have done. Like, you're sitting with. I mean, I feel like I've done years of therapy in a week. You know, you're just sitting with these things and you're dealing with them. Because if you don't, what you're going to do, just sit there in the middle of the mountain and cry all day. No, you're going to keep walking. So you're doing it when you're walking, and then you walk through these emotions and you push through, and you're like, man, I'm a tough motherfucker. How am I still hiking through the snow, while I'm going through like emotional turmoil? It feels like I don't know, like the lowest point where you're like so upset and you're just so emotional. That's how you feel for like days, and you just keep hiking and hiking and hiking, and the conditions were terrible. Like, it was a big, melting pot of multiple things, but going through that was really, really, really bloody tough. I forget what we were talking about.
We're just talking about the points that you didn't expect in the trail, and then you were saying you kind of went down a rabbit hole of, obviously, it was way harder than you thought, and then just the fact that you learned a lot about yourself through the process. What was the weirdest thing that happened?
Any question that's like, what is that happened? Like, the most happened is pretty difficult, because
a lot of weird stuff.
So much stuff happens. The weirdest thing, I don't know. Seen bears. Seen quite a few bears, which is kind of weird initially, but when you first see them, you realise they're just like big dogs.
Yeah.
They just run away, and they're like gangly.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm not scared of bears anymore.
I'd be terrified of a bear if I seen one, mate.
Yeah, I thought the same.
Yeah.
But see, when you see them like early in the season, like when they're just coming out of hibernation, they're really skinny.
What if it was running at you?
I mean, I'd be scared if it was running at me, but they don't. They'd run away, because they're just. I mean, it depends where you are in America. I don't want to tell people bears are friendly. Approach bears, because it's not the case. They are generally black bears, as long as they're not with cubs.
Yeah,
they're pretty timid. Like, they just want to eat. They'll run away from humans, unless they're conditioned to get food from humans.
Yeah.
So that was weird because we don't have bears here or in Australia.
We live in the UK. It's such a neutral country. We don't get extreme weather.
We don't have anything dangerous
Nothing
really either.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Just booze.
Yeah.
Booze and drugs.
Yeah, I mean, lots from a weird. I think I'd have to dive into a deeper question than weird because it's very, very broad. Maybe. Lots of extreme weather, hot and cold. Lots of interesting people. None really weird. Maybe met like 2 people on the entire trail who I would say I could quite happily never see them again. And out of hundreds of people, it's pretty good. But there was nothing weird. Everyone's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the same boat. Everyone wants to do the same thing. So there wasn't anything weird.
Who had the biggest impact on you? You made a lot of friends, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, everyone had a different impact in different ways because everyone was so different. Like there's people who I met early on in the trail who I pushed mileage to hang with. We just happened to be hiking for weeks, and then
Is that Jelly?
there was Jelly and Giles.
Yeah, I remember them.
Jelly was already an accomplished hiker. He'd hiked a lot of the trail. Giles was just a bit of a beast, and I wasn't really conditioned at this point, so I was pushing way beyond what I was capable of, and I kind of didn't even know why. I was just like, well, you don't have to hike with these people. But I was like, yeah, but you can. I think I was a bit like, I don't want to slow down because I can do it. You can push that hard. But I was pushing just way beyond my comfort zone compared to what they were. So they were finishing the day tired. I was finishing the day exhausted.
Yeah.
But I was pushing myself every day, and I'm really grateful for them because I might never have got to where I was at the end if I hadn't pushing that early at the start.
Yeah.
So they had an impact on me in various ways, but I'd say that's probably the main one. Being able to push through some of the toughest conditions that we pushed through. I had some other people I hiked with who had just a very good temperament, and I took a lot from that. Being Scottish, we don't all have great temperaments.
Yeah.
So seeing how he dealt with situations and how he would deal with people, and it's pretty interesting. And people who probably had the biggest impact from a performance standpoint were people who I spent a few days with, or sometimes a day. Some of the best hikers, I mean, these guys are incredible. They're all ultra runners. It's just all so much time on their feet. I'd meet them on the trail, I'd spend a day with them, and we'd bump out some big miles, and I'm like, man, these guys are inspiring. Like, we talk about different things. We talk about how long they've been on trail, what their goals are, like what they do outside the trail, and it's always ultra running.
Yeah.
Some of these ultra runners I meet on trail, I'm like, damn, like, this is
savage.
Pretty inspiring, because at this point, I'm doing between 30 and 40 miles a day, which is savage in itself. There's big miles to be doing over mountains. These guys are doing more. And you're like, how are you managing to pump out 47 miles a day? And it's not just like gentle mountains, it's like up, down, over rocks. And some of these guys are pushing 47, 50 mile days. And I remember at the start of the trail, I was looking at people doing 30 mile days going, that's crazy. Why would you do that? Why would you do 30 mile days? And I hadn't done like a 20 at this point. And I'd done a 20 and I was like, I don't think I could do a 30. It took me 2 or 3 months to do that. And I'd done a 30, I was like, never again. Never again. And then I was doing 30s every day. And then I was doing 40s. And then I was like, oh my God, like what? How much am I leaving in the tank? And I stopped judging people on doing crazy stuff. So people who were then doing, incredible feats of endurance, I wasn't going, that's crazy anymore. I was like,
this is possible.
I wonder if I could do that. Like these people, they're not aliens. They're about the same stuff as me. And I look back at that person 3 months prior going, man, how could you think these people are crazy? And a realization for me, because people were commenting on my Instagram when I'd done the Oregon challenge, it was like completing 455 miles in under 14 days, averaging 32.5 miles a day. That's not that extreme from a through hiking standpoint. It's really hard, but it's not extreme. And I had people saying, that's just stupid. Why are you doing that? You're rushing through this state. Like, you're wasting Oregon and blah, 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 blah. And I had a big realization. I'm like, the reason I thought people were crazy for doing 30, 40 mile days is because I couldn't fathom doing it myself.
Yeah.
I used to look at them and think, I can't do that, so that's stupid. And that's what people were doing to me. And it just completely flipped my whole perspective on endurance, on people doing wild, incredible things. Not just even endurance related, just maybe related to something that I can't imagine myself doing.
Mate, people just do this with like everything, man. Like, and it's, I know everyone's got an opinion but you know, sometimes when people say it and it's got a bit of dark energy around it. Like, you're like,
Yeah.
they're almost questioning your integrity. Like, they're not even trying to understand you.
Yeah.
It's because it holds a mirror up to what they're not doing. Now, it's not to say that they have to do it the way that you do. But I just say to folk, just try to understand it. You don't have to understand it, but try. Because when people don't try to understand it, they get their back up about it and they start questioning it. And that's when you see people do things like, they just question. I understand everything. Like, there is logic behind everyone's point, and there's like three sides to every story that you do. But you hit the nail on the head there, mate. Like, you can put a video up, mate, of like saving someone's grandmother from a burning building, right? And there would still be a group of people that would be like, yeah, but you done that bit wrong. Like,
Yeah.
you should have went through the left window and not the right window, and should have done this, and they should have done that sooner. There's always someone there that will literally question it, and it's just because there's people have got a lot of things that they're intrinsically that they're not really aware and conscious of.
For sure. And having to bite your tongue when people are giving you shit about hiking through Oregon fast. People are saying, you're not even going to see the place. It's like, I'm walking on my legs. Like, I'm not on a motorbike. I'm not flying through. I'm having to walk every single mile through this day. Like, what am I not seeing? You know, I'm not running.
Yeah.
And it's incredible watching
They
these.
want you to go to Walmart. They want you to go and see IKEA.
It's just incredible. And I'm like, and you know, that Scottish part of me wants to go, well, how many fucking miles have you hiked to this day?
Yeah.
Have you hiked them all? Like, how fast did you do it? Like, why is the way you've done it more appropriate than the way I'm doing it? And I don't, because I'm like, you know, everyone views the world through a different lens.
Yeah.
And I try not to judge them through it. And I try and explain to them, like, this is a challenge. That was the biggest catalyst for me becoming stronger, like, and a way different person. That Oregon challenge opened my eyes and my body up to so many different
What you're capable of.
what I'm capable of, but also what I actually enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to do a big day. I'd be like, right, I'm having a slow day. I don't want to get injured. And then I'd done big days every day with injuries.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm still all right. I'm like, okay, so you can do this every single day if you want to.
Because you went through a point a few years ago, mate, where you were probably overly protective of your body.
For sure.
That made you more injured.
It's like made of glass.
Yeah, you like.
Yeah.
Mate, I said this recently. See, if you act like glass, you will be glass.
Yeah, and it's, I think
Injuries are a thing, of course. Like, they're not.
I think something that's more prevalent if you're doing, like, let's say you're just going to the gym and you're doing the same, like, two-dimensional exercises every week. Yeah, you're going to get injured probably because you're doing the same movement over and over and over again for years. You know, you're not strengthening other parts of your body. You're not doing different things. You're maybe not playing sports. You're maybe not, you know, your body's not working fully. It's just, I'm just going to go and curl some weights every day for 6 years. And you're wondering why your elbows are sore and you're not doing any other exercise.
Yeah.
But I think that's generally the kind of place I was in. I was unmotivated, uninspired. My body was, I was stressed a lot. I feel like that's also a big factor on pain and injury, how you're managing your stress. But yeah, it's hard to be stressed on trail.
Yeah.
It's hard to be unhappy on trail, even when you're
And when you're unhappy.
even when you're emotionally in turmoil. It's hard to be unhappy because you're like, look around, dude. Look where you are.
Mate, I think it goes back to that point I made earlier. It just takes you back to your roots of how you're meant to live, survival. Like, you need to keep going. There's no option. Like, you may be feeling down today, but like, you have to go. Whereas, like, now that option's, like, let's say for example, someone goes for a breakup, someone goes for a hard time, man. You can live off Deliveroo. You can lie in your bed all day. You can work from your phone if you can. You can turn up and tick a box in so many parts of your life, but like, that you learn a lot for yourself when you turn up through a time of your life where you don't want to turn up, and that's where all the growing is, and that's what you would have had daily, mate. It's like there would have been so many days, not that you were like, there would have been days that you would, I can imagine you're like, I don't want to do this today.
For
a
sure.
lot of days.
For sure.
But there's a lot in that, mate. Like, it's harder to do it when you're in so much comfort for that option there to not do it. And it's why so many folk are in a trap where they are a victim of the circumstances of what's going on in their life. And honestly, like you can fit, like we obviously run retreats now and training camps, and they are the most transformational weeks ever for people because they're great fun. You're around great people and you train hard, you work hard, and see at the end of it, everyone's just like a lighter version of themselves. Not fit, not actually lighter. Some folk are lighter, right? But I mean, like, just like they're like you can just tell they've just like had this week, and it's because they've not had all those needs met in a while. They've not had that push, that drive, that exposure, and I think when you do something like this, it's like that on steroids.
I mean, you don't have a choice, really. There's plenty of days where I'm like, maybe I'll just stay in my tent today.
Imagine you just stayed in tent all day.
Some people do.
They do.
Some people do.
Watch Netflix.
Never done it. Some people will stay in their tent all day and they're like, I can't hike today. And I mean, I didn't know many people that were around where we were that was doing it, but
tent, Netflix and chill.
I've spoken to people who are at different points in the trail, and people do. They're like, we're just going to stay in a tent. We're just going to chill today. It's too cold. It's too snowy. And when I heard people saying it, I was like, you can do that? I didn't know you could do that. Because in my head, I was like, I'd love to stay in bed today, but I can't.
There's no option.
Because what the fuck am I going to do? Am I going to sit there all day? And then, in 2 hours, be like, I'm bored. Yeah. I need to walk. So you just get up, pack up, start walking, have breakfast on the go, stop for some food every hour.
Routine, man. And
it's just a solid routine of, if you don't move, and this is how I view that, if I don't move for the day, you've just wasted a day. Like, not like the whole goal is to get to Canada, but why are you there? Yeah. You know, I can lie on a beach if I want to chill out. If I want to sit and do nothing, I can do it on a beach. I can do it somewhere, or I can do it by a lake, whatever. But the trail kind of just forces you to be there, I guess. It forces you to do what you need to do. In my opinion, it doesn't do that for everyone, but I'm like, you're on trail. You're here to hike. And as my opinion changed on how hiking should be done for me, I was like, I don't even like leaving camp at 7. If I leave camp at 7, I'm like, oh my God, you've left hours on the table.
Yeah.
You could be up at 5, leave at 5:30 at sunrise, and you can have a full day. But some days I'd leave at 7. I'm like, you're so lazy.
How mad is it that because the way we're all wired, everyone just has a different experience, everything, doing the exact same thing? Mm-hmm. Like someone could literally do the exact days that you hike, the exact thing, and have a totally different experience.
I mean, that is
mad.
It's a huge thing I talk about with people who I meet who are further back on trail. Like I went back 500 miles after I finished trail. There was a little, it's like a expose for through hiking, and a lot of people go there. So you meet people who you have met through Instagram, maybe haven't met in like 3 or 4 months. And the experiences you have on trail are all so distinctively different. For example, it could be impacted by the weather. So if I start on 1st of March and someone starts 31st of May, they've had a completely different trail. I've walked through snow for 3 months. They've walked through sweltering heat, like 40 degrees plus for months. And your whole initial part of the trail, your California experience, has been so different. And then you add into the mix personalities, style of hiking.
Yeah, levels of awareness.
Whether you like to party, whether you like to, really push and grind, like whatever you get out of the thru hike. And you speak to people and I'm like, and I hear them telling stories, and I hear them talking about their journey, and I'm like, it feels bizarre. Yeah. So I'm like, we haven't hiked the same hike. We've hiked the same miles, but it's just been so different.
You said something though about like, who had the biggest impact on you, and you mentioned it was like some people that you spent a day with. It was observing other people, how people dealt with problems. I think that's one of I learn a lot through other people. Like I spend time with folk and I'm like a sponge. It's not even the stuff that they say to me, I'm observing how they do it. And especially if they're in a position where, like, let's say for example it's someone that's got a higher level of athletic superiority, right, or a higher level of like business awareness, and like they've got a higher level of income to you, and they're in a similar business and world, right? I'm like, they're doing something better than me. Like, my brain is in me. I'm maybe not saying that out loud. I'm like, and I spend a bit of time with someone, and the thing that you see is that people articulate their problems differently. That's usually one of the biggest ones. They usually, like, things that you get stressed about, they don't get that stressed about it. And it's not even that you're sitting going, and they're just chill. It's that you would react a certain way to something, and like when they react, it just holds a mirror up to me, and I love it. Like, see when someone does something that and I'm kind of in awe of it. Like, I'm kind of like, that's actually so cool how they dealt with that. Oh, I wouldn't do that. I'd do it this way. And then I try and take a part of that. So like, I think that's amazing when you go and spend time with other people and how they articulate things. Like a story, me and Ailey, when we were flying back from Bali to Dubai earlier on in the year, and our flight got cancelled. Did I tell you about this?
Yeah.
It was just after you left. So we left not long after you. And we were like that. We turned up, and then the little Balinese guy was like, yeah, flight's cancelled. Like, dead chill, but he was smiling. No, it made it so you couldn't be annoyed because he was like, yeah, flight's cancelled. He's like, you need to go out that way. You need to go that way. And I was like, this guy is like just armoured it just by smiling. But anyway, we went away, got put up in a 5-star hotel. And our flight wasn't until later the next night. So with the full day, we actually went to the mall. We went and got some food. We stayed in a 5-star hotel. Went to the gym. It was hilarious. It was literally like an old room with like a 1990s bike in it. And we had a great day. And then afterwards, we were in the little lobby area, and we met so many other people. And we were like, "How are you?" If we were just like, like,
I remember this. Yeah.
So annoyed, and I was like, I felt bad for feeling good. I felt bad, and I was like, mate, everyone, there must have been like, I'm not going to speak poorly of people here, but like, people were just like cynical and negative, and I know folk have families, and maybe they had kids, or they had to sort out things at work, and it's like, you're in a 5-star hotel that Emirates put you up in, and you're just like making this so much harder for yourself, and it's just, people can have a totally different experience of everything because of the way that they articulate the whole situation, and I think when you spend time with folk, you see that in different levels. You see the person that you're in awe of, and then you see the person that you're like, I would not want to switch places with you, man. Like, you're making this hell. Like, this is so hard.
It kind of affects who you want to spend time with as well.
Yeah.
Like, the more I've been aware of this over the last few years, the more I try and distance myself from people who are like inherently negative, because it drains me so hard.
Yeah.
Like, because I have been inherently negative in the past as well, and if I spend too much time with people like that, I become inherently negative.
Yeah.
Like, I'm negative about situations, and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just around the wrong people. I need to be around the people who, at my point, when I'm positive about a situation, I mean, you're not going to be like all the time, but the more you surround yourself with people who are like that, like you said, who you see things, how they deal with situations, how they remain calm, how they remain positive, you're like, damn, why am I not like that all the time? But the more time you spend with people like that, that's your example. That's who you see. That's how you start living your life, which is scary because it starts holding up mirrors to people close to you.
It's called osmosis.
Yeah.
So you spend time with folk and then you behave like them. It's funny how there's some folk that don't do that though. They're like so ignorantly bliss that like they just don't.
The sweet life.
Yeah. You're like, how could like they don't do it? Like, they could be around like the best folk ever. Like the folk who, like, that are constantly evolving themselves.
Yeah.
And they can have a lot of like dark energy and stuff and a lot of like things, and nobody's perfect, but like, and they're having that mirror held up, but they're just choosing to go, nah, like, I'm just gonna keep doing me.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of admire it in one way. I mean, it's I would not want to be like that. Yeah. But I look at some people, I'm like, damn, you're just living life on your own terms. Exactly the way you want to do it. You don't care about anyone else or anything else.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So what day are you on posting content right now? You've actually finished this.
I don't want to break the green wall.
Yeah.
I don't want to break.
Well, this will be after. This is coming out after.
Yeah.
I won't post this until you're done it.
I think my content's like, because that would be confusing.
Yeah. Posting the podcast of you finishing the PCT and it's not even finished on your
I'm
Instagram.
like 5 to 7 days delayed.
How are you?
And I've been home for a day. I had a couple of days off, so it's come to the end. I'm a couple of days away from the final post, which I'm really excited about because things got really crazy at the end. Did I tell you about it?
Your mum told me that you got sick.
Oh, dude, I thought I told you about that. Maybe I told
Your mum just told me. Your mum was like, yeah, we were really worried. I was like, why?
I suppose I only seen you for like an hour ago.
Yeah.
And we haven't really spoke.
Yeah.
So maybe like 2 weeks before the end, I was really annoyed. So I had a water filter. If anyone doesn't know, you have to filter all the raw water in the wild because there can be lots of bacteria. There can be lots of, diseases in it. My filter broke. I knew of people who didn't use filters, who maybe just drank straight from the streams, and I was like, I've got 4 days to town. I'm just going to drink the water. So I was drinking the raw water. I was fine-ish. And then maybe 5 to 7 days later, I got really bad stomach cramps. I had worse diarrhea for like 10 days. but I was still hiking 30s. I was still pushing through because I was like, I'm so close to the end. I'm not stopping. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get better. It could be 3 weeks. So I kept pushing. Had really bad GI issues, like really bad stomach pain. I'd lost my appetite, so I was forcing myself to eat, trying to hydrate hard. I got a new filter, and then I took a day off when I was 60 miles from the border. I was like, I need to just give my body a little bit of rest. So then I hiked that last section alone. It's 90 miles, 60 miles to the border, 30 miles back, and it's pretty tough terrain. There's a lot of elevation change, and it was really hot. It was above 30 degrees Celsius. So I pushed, the first day I pushed a 37-mile day. The second day I pushed a 40-mile day. So I got me to the border and then 15 back. So I had like 15-ish miles to get back to the nearest road, which is also about another 20 miles from the nearest town, which doesn't have a doctor's or a hospital. And on the 40-mile day, about 7 p.m, I went for a piss, and it was brown.
What?
And bloody. And I was like, oh,
Rhabdo.
Rhabdo. And I was like, oh dear, I'm still 20 miles from a road, and it's 7 p.m. at night, and I'm in the middle of nowhere. I have no phone service. Couldn't Google what it was, make sure it wasn't kidney failure or something. So I walked again, was drinking. I was like, damn, like this is not good. But it was a big day. It was 40 miles. I had just done 8 miles vertical, pretty much, in like just over 2 hours. And my body was just obviously like, I'm done here. Like, you've just pushed me a little bit too hard. So yeah, I had like 3 or 4 miles to the nearest water source, so I couldn't just stop and rest. So I had to hike down another valley, back up another one, and it was getting dark. And I can remember filming a little selfie and going like, well, I don't really know what this is, you know, but the sunset was beautiful, and I was like, this could be the end. So I got to camp. I was a bit worried. I managed to get a satellite communication message from my brother, thinking this would be really, he'll be calm. I'm not going to message my mum. And he was like, you need to go to the hospital right now. I'm like, okay, but I'm in the mountains. I can't get to the hospital, and a helicopter's like 50 grand in America, so I can't go to the hospital. Can you give me a little bit of other advice? He was like, no. He's like, you need to go to the hospital.
You get 50 grand.
I was like, I'm not, pressing my SOS button. I was like, you need to give me some more advice. He's like, well, it could be this. I don't know where he got his information from, but he's like, it could be kidney failure.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
ChatGPT.
I was like, can I go to sleep? Because it's 9 p.m. at this point. It's pitch black. I'm still pissing red, like pure blood, so it looked like. And I was freaking out a little bit. And he was like, if it's kidney failure, you can't go to sleep. If it isn't, you'll be fine. I was like, okay. So I pitched my tent. I was like, I'm exhausted. I was like, I'm going to sleep. So I wouldn't have made it at the distance, you know. My body was just
rolling the dice, man.
It was broken. So I rolled the dice and I had a great sleep. And I woke up, more fluids, and there was some traces of blood in it in the morning. I kept my heart rate below 100 and walked that 50 miles super conservatively. Electrolytes all the way, and it started peeing clear by the time I got there. So that was the end of the trail. Luckily, it was the 30 miles back that happened, because it was on the 30 miles to the border. I'm not entirely sure what I would have done. Would I have kept pushing? Maybe.
That's crazy, man.
But I went and seen a doctor in the end and got some urinalysis and a blood test done, and he checked my kidneys and everything was fine. He said it's probably an early phase of rhabdo, but because I only had a few miles to push, hydrated aggressively and kept the pace really low, he says you probably caught it early yourself and had a day's rest. But it was terrifying.
Yeah, man.
That was the scariest point on trail, because I was so out there. I was so far away from anything, and actually where I was in the valley, you wouldn't really have been able to land a helicopter, even if I'd wanted to.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I have to get out of this valley.
Yeah.
Like, how much damage am I doing with every mile?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know with my kidneys. I didn't know whether it was rhabdo or what it was. So, and obviously I'd had the stomach issue. So it could have been like E. coli or some other disease from an animal. So I was thinking about all these things as well, and I was like, oh man. I was like freaking out. But I made it. I'm still here.
Crazy, man.
And I was still,
tell the tale.
I was pretty stoked that I'd just touched the border. I'd just touched it, and I turned around and I was like, right, let's smash out as many miles as possible.
What was it like to touch it?
Underwhelming.
Let's go.
Underwhelming. I kind of put it into perspective about, the whole cliche.
It's the process.
It's not the destination.
Yeah.
I had got a bit emotional on the way to the border.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh God, this is it. Like, I'm going to cry when I get here. I know it. And people would ask me, are you going to cry? I was like, 100%. I'm going to cry when I get there. It's going to be so emotional. The culmination point of 2,650 miles, snow, heat, injuries, like pushing your body hard. years of thinking about it, fantasizing about this moment, seeing other people get to this terminus, the photo, the videos, like this has been like the culmination of so many people's journey, and I'm like, I'm almost there. And as I was coming down the hill, I could hear some people talking, and I was like, damn, I thought I was going to have this to myself. So straight away, that the kind of fantasy that I had was gone because there was people there. And I got there, and they were really cool, and they were doing some photos, and they were like, do you mind if we have lunch here? I was like, nah, that's cool. So I set my camera up, and I was like, try to capture some shots for Instagram and YouTube, and trying to catch some stills, and the sun was bad, the lighting was really bad, and I was like, damn, like this is supposed to be perfect. Why is everything not perfect? And then these German guys were just like, do you want a beer? I was like, okay, maybe it is perfect. So I hadn't packed it. Most people pack out a beer. I didn't pack a beer. I wasn't really drinking on trail. So I sat down, had a beer. We just kind of caught up. We'd never met each other before. So we kind of caught up at the border. I was like, this is crazy. Like, we're here. And another factor of the underwhelming part, there's a big sign saying welcome to Canada.
Yeah.
And you used to be able to walk into Canada. It's like 12 kilometres to the nearest town. And that's where you used to party. They changed the rules this year because of the political climate over there. You can't cross the border anymore.
What?
So you have to turn around and hike 30 miles back into America rather than just 12 kilometres.
Surely that's an opportunity for someone to set up like a business near there or something, or like an Airbnb.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
I'd be doing an Airbnb.
It's really remote
Airbnb,
mountains.
Airbnb. Log
There you go.
cabin Airbnb.
You your next venture.
Yeah. I'll do a GV. We'll go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So looking at the sign saying 8 miles to Manning Park, 33 miles to Harts Pass, you're like,
Jesus.
okay, I guess I should probably get moving. And then it's 4 p.m. I was like, I don't want to have to do a big day tomorrow. It was cooking hot. In hindsight, I maybe should have just took that slow, maybe camped somewhere low and hiked the next day. But I was feeling good. I didn't feel sick. I just wanted to blast out the miles, so I blasted them out, got rhabdo, got back to the rest point, and celebrated being finished by resting rather than drinking, which is probably a better idea.
Yeah. Your body needs rest after that, man.
So yeah, underwhelming, but incredible at the same time. It's just it's just a combination point, and because all that stuff happened after with the rhabdo and everything else, it's kind of just like, oh wow, like, and really getting back to the town post trail was really the finish point, because it's not over. You got this huge section, this huge leg still to complete. So when I got back there, I was like, okay, PCD's done.
Yeah,
what now? My flight's not for a week. What am I going to do? So yeah, you very quickly start reflecting on the trail and what you've just accomplished and the people you've met. And
it's probably quite good that you went to that event then. That was probably a nice way to kind of finish it off.
For sure.
You feel famous at it.
I felt strange at it because people recognise you from the content, and people who you had maybe connected through Instagram, so you got to meet them, and people who you hadn't connected through Instagram who just followed your journey. They were coming up to you, approaching you, just really thanking you for everything, and it's a surreal feeling because you see you've got all these people following, but when you see them specifically at a small event in Oregon, and they're all coming up to you and thanking you for it, you're like, damn, this is so cool. So many people were watching this.
Opens your eyes up, man, doesn't it? To once you have that audience there and people that buy into your journey, and you realise how much of an impact it can have on someone's life. And sometimes I don't know about you obviously get a lot of engagement and stuff, so not the same level as yours, but like sometimes you can have the blinkers on and forget people are even watching. For sure. And then you're like, whoa, like I was on a podcast yesterday. There was an old client of mine, and and then I also met up with some clients last week at an event, and then I'm actually launching a new internal program, playing about with some things, and you spend some time with people, and then you realise the impact that you're having. You're having this impact, but then you're actually like, you meet people in the flesh, and you're like, whoa, like folk are like, I've watched you every day, or like, I love your content, or I watch all your YouTubes, and you're like, really?
Yeah. Like people are actually watching this.
Yeah, you're like, it's weird because you obviously know that's why you're doing it, like, but then there's a part of your brain that switches off to it that's just about consistency and just about the task at hand and getting the content, and then like you actually sometimes just forget that like someone says like, I love your YouTube, I love your podcast, and you're like, really? It's mad. It's crazy. Yeah. So
definitely feel that for sure. Yeah. Because like you said, you have the engagement, you have the people messaging you, but it kind of doesn't. It feels like, I don't know, like not kind of real.
Yeah.
But yeah, meeting them people in the flesh is kind of blew my mind a little bit. I'm like, this is real. People are actually spending time to watch me walk every day. Yeah, incredible.
How are you feeling now about, obviously, you were mentioning there you're going to go to Australia, and you've got you obviously tell us a bit about like, what you've got planned now.
I'm excited. There's lots coming up. Not
Coming to Bali?
Not as quick as I'd like. Probably not. When are you going to Bali?
Sunday.
Probably not.
You should come. I've got a villa.
No, I think I've got flights booked for like 3 weeks time.
It's direct.
Direct.
Oh, direct, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm out there for like 2 months. So
Not direct, but via Bali.
well, like, about longer than that, but like we're going out 2 months minimum. I booked a place for like 8 weeks.
Yeah. We'll chat about it after. See
Cool.
if we can figure out.
Yeah.
Hash some details out.
Yeah. It's exciting, man.
So post PCT, yeah, honestly, also, like I said, I had a lot of inspiration from people on trail, and a lot of inspiration watching people who are completing these huge feats of endurance. And I was always come back to the same thing. What do you do? I'm an ultra runner. I'm going to be an ultra runner. So my head was like, right, I need to do whatever they're doing, because the fascination with high mileage and long days became like a focal point of my trail at the end. Like, people were like, why are you hiking so fast? Why are you hiking so long? I'm like, I love it. It's really making my journey right now. It's making it special for me. So as soon as I had some time on trail, I wanted to book it before I changed my mind. So I got a 50k booked in Australia.
You messaged me, didn't you?
Yeah.
You were like, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
I was like, do it.
And I booked it straight away.
Yeah. Book it right away. I was like, do it, man.
I was like, booked it. I was like, right, I'm locked in. I'm doing it. And, you know, some people listening might be like, 50k, 31 miles. I've never run a marathon before. Like, I'll be like, that's crazy.
You'd be surprised at your condition, mate. You'd
But-
be very surprised at your condition.
From my perspective, it doesn't seem like a big deal, and that might sound silly, but I was hiking an ultramarathon every day with a pack on over mountains.
Zone 1, bro. Like, you would have been zone 1, like zone 1, zone 2. Low impact. I know it's high impact at points, but for doing that much volume, mate, like, we were listening to a podcast recently, me and Ailey, and it was like this ultra runner. Like, people say, like, you shouldn't walk as much if you're running a lot because, like, it affects your recovery. And this guy was like, nah, man, like, the reason I'm such a good endurance athlete is because my job, I don't know what, I can't remember what he'd done, but it was like he'd done like 25,000 steps a day, and he was running like 100-mile weeks.
Yeah.
And this was on top of that, like, additionally. And it's like that made him so conditioned to doing that. So, yeah, mate, like, if you start adapting now, mate, start getting some low and slow, build the actual, because it's more plyometric, isn't it? It's a lot more explosive, but you'll be surprised, man. Like that.
Well, there's just so many crossovers from especially through hiking in particular. You know, skills with your feet, foot placement, balance. You know, all these things that you have to do on trail opposed to road running. Just the mileage, the elevation change. You know,
Volume, mate.
yeah,
Just
for
volume.
sure. I'm spending 15 hours a day on my feet, covering between 30 and 40 miles every day for months.
Yeah.
It's like 31-mile run. I'm like, oh, you've got aid stations. I don't have to carry all my own stuff. I can go home at the end of the day and have a big dinner. It's like, sounds pretty fun.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound daunting. Whereas 5 months ago, I'd have been like, an ultramarathon? No way, mate. Never. I'll never do that. I'm not a runner. I don't want to do that. Whereas now I'm like, maybe I should have booked 100k. I'm like, maybe the 50k is too light of an entry point.
Yeah.
But I guess you get conditioned to the larger miles, and you know your body can cover the distance. I could hike I could for sure hike that distance. Probably the 100k as well within the cutoff. But it's not really. I don't want to just complete it within the cutoff. I want to try and attempt to complete it within a reasonable time. So that's step one. Phase one of the post PCT recovery. Book an ultra. Do some recovery on the. I've got a couple of little niggles, but nothing crazy. Do some rehab on them. Have a build phase, specific training phase for running, and get back over there and run it. Then I'm already looking at past the finish point at a couple of other ultras. 2026, some bigger ones, some tougher ones maybe, and then definitely some more through hiking.
Yeah.
I've got my next through hike penciled in, which is kind of exciting.
And what's next for the channel?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to document the ultra training, the transition. I'm not sure how that's going to look yet. Like I said, I just kind of hard landed into the UK last night, so I've got some things drafted how I think it's going to look, but it's going to be a transition from through hiking to ultra running initially. But the ultra running is generally a foundation for through hiking. So that's how the Instagram's going to look. Through hiking, ultra running, specific training. It's going to be looking back at the gear I've used on the PCT, gear I'm going to be using for ultras, and some reflections. It's going to be a lot of reflections because I'm going to have a lot of breakthroughs, I think.
Yeah.
Post PCT of what's happened through the PCT.
Yeah.
So
Do you journal at all?
I don't.
You should.
I don't have time on trail.
Yeah.
That was when everyone asked me, like,
You don't know.
would you do anything different if you could go back to
You
the trail?
journaled doing your videos, mate. That was
No, I know.
journaling. Do you know what I mean?
But it's slightly different because you don't go as deep into your psyche, I guess. But I had a couple of people say, "Would you do anything different?" I'd be like, "I wish I had more time to journal because I could have put so much down on paper."
How you felt?
How I felt, the emotions that I went through, because stuff that I wouldn't necessarily put in an Instagram caption, you know, things like that. But yeah, so that's post content. But there's some other things that I've launched already, and I'm looking to launch in the coming weeks and months. I've got a community set up already, and I've had the first few people join, and there's a couple of people in there who are thriving already. Yeah. It's all about, you know, refinding that spark, build momentum, like what you do when you're through hiking. Like, so many people get stuck in a rut. You see it every day with your clients. People get stuck in this cycle of work, putting other things at the top of their list: partners, jobs, kids. So, well, what are you doing for yourself? Nothing. That's why you don't feel great. That's why you have no momentum. So this community I've launched is pretty exciting. I wasn't sure how it was going to look, but it's taken more shape the more people that are joining and the more that I'm interacting with it. So that's really exciting as well.
Yeah, I'm excited for you, mate. I'm buzzing. I knew it when I said to you in Bali a while ago. I remember we were sat there and you were feeling that way, and I was like, bro, just document it. Build the audience, build the community, and everything will make sense. And how you become in that will, I was like, you'll be the guy that knows what you need to do at the end of it. And look at you now, mate. I always remember that, sitting in the lounges in Bali. You were like...
Yeah, I remember you saying that, and I'm like, I don't think he knows what he's talking about.
I think a lot of people say that to me, man. But yeah, no, mate, I'm super proud of you, man. It's I said this like on my stories today, but I was so excited to have one of my best mates in the podcast. A lot of folk don't know that. Obviously, I've not really done an intro for this, but myself and Grant have known each other since we've been like...
The dawn of time. We
guys, basically. So when we were at school. And for me, I've always had people on the podcast. Not that I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have anyone, but if someone's on the podcast, they're coming on because they have a story. It's not everyone has a story. So like, it's people I've met later in life, people that I've collaborated with. And I was so excited to get you on, mate, because I was like my best mate coming on the podcast that like I've known for school, and like you're doing these things. And I've always said, mate, like I've always said it from like day dot. I was like, you'll find your own thing. Like, I've always said that. I'm like, the conversations that you've been having with me over the years and stuff about what you want from life, like what you want to do professionally. I was always like, what the fuck are you doing working on a construction site, man? Like, what are you doing? Like, you're wasted there. And that's not against anyone there. It's just that, you know, when folk are vibing at like a certain way.
I think it's if someone has an interest in a certain direction.
Yeah.
If you're putting that energy into something else, like some people are really passionate about construction or, you know, medicine or whatever else.
100%.
If that's where you want your direction to go all in, like for sure. But if you're not, and there's something else that you're interested in, and there's other things that you have that lights a fire in you, that lights that spark in you, go after it. Like, don't waste too much time. I mean, I feel like I spent so much time thinking about it, not doing it, but, you know, it shaped me into the person that I need to be to do these things now.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. I'm pretty excited about the future, and I'm essentially all we've just done is have a catch up. We haven't seen each other since I've left for America. This is the first time we've
seen each other since February.
You picked me up like 20 minutes ago.
Before
the
really
podcast.
Speak in the car.
Didn't speak in the car, really. I just woke up. So everyone's just managed to see our first hour catch up, really.
Yeah. I'm going to Dubai tonight as well.
Jet setter.
So I'm going to Dubai tonight at 10 p.m. I don't even know what time it is. This watch doesn't even work. I just wait it because it looks good. So
prop.
Yeah, man. So it's been awesome to obviously catch up. And guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. An amazing interview, and I'm sure so many people will take so much away from this. please do us a massive favour. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. I will put Grant's Instagram. I'll put his YouTube in there as well if you want to give him a subscription. But before you even follow him and before you even give him a subscription, what are they going to do, mate? They're going to give me a subscription, aren't they? So please subscribe. Anyway, guys, yeah, awesome, mate. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
See you later. Goodbye.